hope this is all there. God, I hope.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us again, or for the first time. We are setting up this right now. We want to make sure that there is a really strong link to Twitter. So, give us a minute. Hang on, Simon. We will start actually being people.
In just a moment.
In just a minute.
I just really want that link to work so nobody gets lost again. Now I'm not actually sure where to find it.
Oh. Well, that was that. If you go back to, nope, just kidding. Gotcha.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're trying to figure out the best way to get a link to this stream on YouTube. Does anyone know how? Anybody there in the chat? Because we want to make sure everyone can see us, and I want to tweet out the right thing.
Yeah.
But you're seeing under the hood right now, under the experience points hood. Boy, not sure. Where do I go? Videos?
Interesting. Channels? No, is that just
What
who
if
we
I
follow?
view not as myself, but as someone else? This is really... Yeah, sending spell would be ideal at this point. That's what I really want to have happen. But I'm not actually a wizard. I'm a rogue. So I cannot cast a sending spell. Yeah, I don't know where it would be.
Interesting.
I'm like seeing the confusion
If someone
that people had.
in chat has a link to this,
Yes.
do you mind tweeting it to us?
Can you tweet it at us, and then we will just retweet that.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Can
Help
you-
us out, experience points. Help us out.
This is so weird. And I hate it. Oh, server URL.
Is that what we need?
Maybe?
I don't think so.
Oh. Alright.
Thanks for sticking with us while this very fascinating thing happens with really low quality.
This is just us as normies.
Yeah,
Just
this is
normal
what we look
dudes hanging out.
like. Soon, my followers soon.
It has been twitted
Oh, okay.
to us.
Thanks, Kailania. All right, here we go. Yes, you are a savior, my friend. We are live with XP web series.
This is why we script and make scripted
Right.
content, because we're
can't improvise.
not
We live XP
good
web
with the
series
digital world, and
on YouTube.
streaming is not our thing.
Come ask us questions. Right now. Species of now. Okay. It's been tweeted. There we go. Right now. So, we are here. I'm going to turn off Twitter. And then I can talk to you guys who are actually here in the stream.
Hey.
What's up with you?
Yeah.
How's your night going? Good, I hope. I hope really, really good. All right. So, there are a few people that wanted to jump back in. If there are any questions that we can take in the meantime while we wait. Just sorting through my phone. Cool. Well, thanks, Jack. Yeah, I saw that, Jack. I'm glad that you made it back in. I hope that some of the people who could not make it are here. I'm going to check in with them. Kate, why don't you talk about your favorite aspect of making the show?
Oh my god.
Isn't that a ridiculous question to put?
It is. Instead,
on
I'm
you.
not going to do that because that's a lot of pressure. So I'm actually going to talk about the credits because I
Ooh.
really like them. And it took me a while and I had to figure it out. And I had to do all of the digital thingies on them. So I'm very proud of them. I'm proud of the entire series, but I'm very proud of the credits because that is not my forte. And I had to learn how to do it. So
It is very difficult, but I think they look great. I'm very happy with them.
Thanks.
We were going for kind of a Game of Thrones vibe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Looking at it sort of in a top-down thing. But that's kind of the big fish in the awesome credits game.
That's why we were like on Sunday nights too.
Yeah.
Like, no big deal. But yes, I really like their credits.
Last question, but you guys, well, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, me neither. What is
Inform
that,
us.
Jack?
Inform us. We
What
would
is
love
that?
to know. iDubbbz TV. iDubbbz TV. No, I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
I'm probably horribly mispronouncing.
What's it mean even?
Let's see. Boy, I hope that everyone is finding it okay. I'm going to put this down in just one sec. Who are the script? And how did you come up with the quirks of the PC sound? Oh, that's a great question. Look at all these great questions. All right, so let me really quick do this. What was that guy's name? Okay, you know what? So, questions. I wrote the script. I am the primary screenwriter behind it. Hey, I got it right. Thanks, Jack. I wrote the script. The characters were kind of grown out of archetypes, very like simple D&D ideas that I wanted to then flesh out. So you have Zydromedes, who is like the heavy role player character, and you have Mac, who's like the slayer, who's all about combat and getting in and kicking butt, doesn't want to sit around and endlessly discuss and scheme. You have Nadine, who's the very impulsive character. You have the Greg, who's the watcher. Those are archetypes, but I wanted to then flesh those out a lot more into more three-dimensional people. So what would their lives be like? What would cause someone to act in that way at the table? So a little bit of background on Nadine. You get little glimpses of this, for example, but she has a very stressful job. She works as someone's personal assistant, and so the idea is that her life is very straight-laced all the time. She has deadlines and responsibilities and all these things, and a dress code and all these things she has to do at her work, and it's very stressful, and a lot of pressure is on her. But when she comes to the table, that's like the 3 hours a week that she gets to be herself and let loose. So that's why she's so impulsive and has such a wacky character, right? Like a fighter, bard, rogue, like all these ridiculous impulsive decisions where she can make decisions with no consequences. So taking basically those archetypes of saying a watcher or an instigator, I think is the term, or a slayer, and saying what's the extrapolation of their personality from that. Yeah, some people talk in third person, some people don't. Greg is kind of more reserved, but when he does, he spends a lot of time thinking about specifically what to say. Like, Greg never wastes a word, right? That's me yammering a long time about that. Do you want to answer the next question, Kate?
Sure. Why didn't we finish the campaign or combat in episode 12? And you really wanted to see what happened, even if I did cry. I also cried. Every time. That happens. Kind of the point of XP is that it's just sort of a snapshot of one campaign, one session, one campaign that happens one time. It's sort of a drive-by of like a look in the window of what's happening somewhere. And that's kind of like the potential of the entire series, like in general. Yeah. So, we didn't finish it because that has happened before, and it's different from an actual play wherein we wanted to make sure we ended with some more of that character development and those other moments of D&D, kind of like the breaks or when people are arriving, where it's like, can you relate to the packing up and everyone leaving and sort of like having gone through this one adventure with them, where does that put you emotionally and connected to these characters and stuff like that. So that's kind of why we didn't finish. And then like combats are never really over, and it's such a big one that it probably would have taken a lot long. It wouldn't have wrapped up.
But yeah, we wanted to have you guys wanting more. That's how all good D&D sessions should end, with a big cliffhanger that makes you want to come back next week, and that's very much the vibe we wanted to end this one on as well. Yeah. Sorry, I'm still messing with Twitter. Do you want to take one more question?
Sure.
Sorry, guys. I want to get this figured out.
How many players were inspired by real players? That one is kind of more of a you question, but I feel like all of them are probably to some extent.
Yeah, they're inspired by people, things I've seen at the table. I think Zydromedes is kind of a wish fulfillment thing. Like, I think everyone kind of wants to be that devoted and do the voice and wear the costume. Maybe we're not all Zydromedes, but that's like what we strive towards, right? Is to be that invested. There's some instigator tendencies in Nadine. They're definitely from some players in a previous game of mine. There are a lot of there are a lot of things that Mac has done, or even just little references and nods in the game to things that you do. She played a character who had a radiant weapon, or a weapon that dealt a lot of radiant damage. And there's only one joke in there, but she would constantly, whenever they fought anything, be like, it's radiant damage, by the way. It's radiant damage.
It's radiant.
It doesn't matter what we're fighting, Crenchars, goblins, things that would have no reason to take extra damage, but she has to constantly remind
you never know.
It's radiant damage, just so you're aware. So there's a couple of nods like that in there. Yeah. Definitely. But there aren't any direct analogs. This was definitely a guy in my game.
Yeah. Apart from I guess Alan is still kind of an exaggeration of
Alan
you,
is
but
basically
he's the closest.
An exaggeration of me. Yeah. That's very true.
Let's see. Are you and the rest of the cast all close friends?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only person we didn't know very personally when we made the show was Heather, who plays Nadine, but we basically cold cast her And then she became a great friend of ours now.
Very much a close friend at this point. Yeah, she's been great the entire time.
So we are all now if we weren't then.
Yeah. How did it feel to actually script a campaign as opposed to letting the players run ripshot over everything and messing up all of your DM planning?
It was like weird, beautiful
God complex.
Like it was so nice to have everything happen the way I wanted it to happen. Like obviously there's like a scripted departure in the beginning, right? Where like people don't, Mac attacks the viceroy without the rest of the party's consent, and that kind of sends them off on this wacky adventure. But it was so nice to be able to get all those moments in one session, to have the riddle in, to have the monster fight in, to have the torture scene in, to have the player discussion. Those are like all the best moments from a 3-year campaign I got to put into one session, right? So, and just little things like, someone made the point, a friend of ours made the point when he watched it, he said that like his favorite moment was when Zydromedes is kind of pontificating and wants to make a persuasion check, and I stop him and say, on your turn, and move on. They're like, that's something that would only happen in a scripted show. Like that would never stop a real player in their tracks. But here it does, because it's a wonderful fantasy realm.
We also set it up that he's used to it. Like he gets stopped so many times. Right? Like he knows. He's like, I am doing the thing again. Jack, thank you. That's awesome. We use Blackmagic cameras. One of them was a pocket, and the other two, boy, that's an Adam Brandt question on specifics. But I know that they were all Blackmagics. For lighting was not like too complicated. It was mainly just like a china ball kind of above the table, and then a couple of like small spotlights. So that's kind of
thankfully, because there's not a lot of movement in the series, we don't have to like jump around. We can just kind of set up the lighting, a little adjustment here and there depending on whose coverage we're getting. But it's not like we're trying to cover different people in different rooms and different scenes and locations and exteriors and interiors. Like we were pretty lucky in that regard, that it's just 5 people talking around a table for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see.
Costumes.
Yeah, costumes would be awesome. I would love to get a whole group that was like really dedicated to doing costumes. Jan Simon says that Zai definitely inspired his gaming group for the next campaign. Everyone's going to have costumes. I think that's the best possible outcome of experience points to inspire costumed DMing. Kenny Dupont has an interesting question. Where did you get the inspiration for the riddle? The riddle is kind of a weird thing. I wrote everything but the riddle. I wrote the whole series up until the end, and then went back and like, okay, I had to write the riddle. So there was a period where the script for episode 7 was like, the carving reads, riddle, 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 riddle. And then they'd be like, we tried guess, and we tried guess, and we tried guess. And I finally had to go back and ask specifically, like, okay, what is this riddle? How do I figure it out? I wanted something that was really primal and very simple, but so simple that it would be almost impossible to solve. So I liked the 4 elements thing, and I liked that fire is water, water is stone, rather than like fire is like stone or like water. It's so simple that I wanted it to make sense that they would not be able to have figured it out even after sessions and sessions. And then it's something that even the audience can't figure out because it relies on in-world information. You need to know specifically the history of this one place that they went past, right? But Mac, who was like obsessed with the campaign, read the wiki and figured it out. If you haven't noticed, some people I'm not sure picked up on that, but there's some great acting that Kate does in that episode where she's trying to convey like, hey, I know the answer, but I don't want to look like I know the answer.
He gets really annoyed as Alan because he's like,
don't fuck up my riddle, So that's a fun episode to go back and to watch, knowing from episode 1 that she's known the answer the whole time. Much more good questions coming in. You want to take the next one, the Adam one?
Well, it's...
Oh, I see. Make all those maps yourself, or from Imaginary Campaign. I did, I drew all of them. Most of them are from a previous game, but there's like a healthy sprinkling of ones that I drew specifically for Darzovia. Someone, I think it was Herm, had a desire to have me tweet those out and send them out to get some high-res versions of them, which I think we're going to do in the next couple weeks. I think there seems to be she is treading carefully. Very good. There seems to be a desire for those maps. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys' love of maps, which I also share. Do you guys plan to release a map of Darzovia? I'd love to play in your guys' campaign world. There is a big map of Darzovia. I'm not sure how we would release it. It's so big. I don't really have a small version.
They might be able to scan it at like Staples or something.
We can figure something out. That's definitely doable. We'd have to do some legwork on that. But we can make it happen.
We can look into that.
Cool. Good question, Jack.
Okay, kind of an oddball question, but where did you guys get that end credit music? That is from someone called Kate Enge. There's a link to it on every YouTube, on all of our videos.
Episodes,
it's from Free Music Archive, and it's under his like Creative Commons licensing and stuff like that. I found it when I was just like
We were just dicking around looking for
Yeah,
anything
taking
that would
around.
work.
And I was like listening to so many tracks, and I found this, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of interesting." We were talking about this actually like a couple minutes ago, and how it's such a unique sound to it, but it has like the right amount of energy, but like
it doesn't feel like it's fantasy. It doesn't feel like it doesn't fit, but it's not what you think of when you think of fantasy music. It's that really weird haunting violin. It's kind of inseparable from the show at this point. I would be surprised if we wouldn't use it in a hypothetical where we
I
went
feel
forward.
like we have to. So I'm in love with that song.
Me too.
I really like it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if you guys have any other questions or anything else. We didn't want to jump on for too much longer because we are currently invading my fiance's space. And she's like, "You're still streaming?" I'm pretty mad. Not at all. I'm joking. She's a lovely woman. She actually helped me come up with the riddle. I could never have done the riddle on my own without her help.
Yes.
Yeah, it is kind of cliffhanger-y music for sure. Cool. So let's take 3 more questions maybe, and then we'll hop off. Unless there's anything else you guys desperately need to know. Submit your last questions now. Oh, did anybody catch... what kind of microphones do we use? That's a good question.
I know that we used a Tascam for some of the stuff. We had like our mixer had an issue on one of the last days of filming, so we had to switch over. I know that our sound recorder, John Millet, he had I think a 6-channel. I should know this. I'm so sorry. It's locked away somewhere. But a 6-channel like recorder, and we had 4 mics set up over everybody, 1 wireless lav mic that Heather had on, and then 1 that went to Alan. So it was like a lot of like shotgun mics.
We can also, if you can get more specifics, Jack is a follower on Twitter, we can just at you specifically if you need some particular technical advice about what mics to use. We'd be happy to help. The Kenthor asked this question, which we answered before, but I don't think you were here last time, so we're happy to answer again. We are planning to do next is to kind of take a little break from regular releases. We worked very hard to get a season 1 out. We're very proud of it, but we need a little breather.
Very tired.
Very tired. We do have some plans for some more content to be released in the next couple of months.
Probably some dungeon crawl.
Some dungeon crawl would be cool to go back to again. I would love to release obviously some of the Indiegogo prizes we have. I want to do another actual play like we did with Swine for Pearls. It was a lot of fun. We're not sure about a second season. We would love to do that, but we're just so tired from season 1. We have to look at it how we feel in a little bit. Maybe next year is kind of when we would revisit that.
But we don't mean to say we're not sure as in like, oh, we really don't want to, and we're just saying we're not sure, but like we're really just undecided. We're just tired and we need a break, and then we'll come back at it.
Exactly. We would
stay tuned.
Very much love to, but we're not sure yet. Yeah. Awesome. A couple more. What inspired the characters' personal lives encroaching on the game during play and on game breaks to add a lot of realism? Thank you. That was a very important aspect to me. I really wanted to emphasize that these are not just nerd archetypes. These are real people who live in the real world, and that almost anyone you see on the street could play Dungeons & Dragons. That the stereotype of like the basement-dwelling, glasses-pushing dweeb.
Cheetos drinking Mountain Dew.
Yeah, right.
Not that there's anything wrong with those things.
But that's all fine. We all support Cheetos and Mountain Dew. But that's not necessarily an accurate representation of the player base, I don't think. So we wanted to say these are people who make time for Dungeons & Dragons in their real life. So Mac just moving to a new city and having to deal with that and having to move and all those stresses.
And the friendships and bonds and everything that D&D can create. Like just the camaraderie there.
And the Nadine with her regular job. There's not a lot of Perkins necessarily, but Perkins' friendship with Trevor, you see kind of the like, how does he deal with his friend leaving? The only person who we don't really see anything about his personal life is Alan. We kind of wanted to keep Alan in the background and to be this sort of
neutral.
He wears gray. He's very background. You don't really know anything about him beyond what you learned through the other players. And Greg, of course, and his kid. Greg is just like the most basic guy. And of course Trevor, who we don't see very much of. Poor Trevor.
He's the cool guy.
Yeah,
he's the resident bad boy of the D&D
Yeah,
group.
he's sort of meant to be the life of the party. Like he's hanging out. He's got his arm around somebody at each one of those scenes.
Yeah, so when he leaves, there's this huge hole, and they're very afraid of what
exactly.
So.
Yeah, of course. Sorry about that, Kenthor. Yeah, cool. Someone wants us to do a good Pikachu cry. Jack wants to hear our best Pikachu. I'm kind of the resident voices guy. I'll give it a shot. I'm really sorry, Jack, if this is disappointing. Because it's like, it's up here in the register. Pikachu! It's like way up there, right?
Oh, yeah.
So and there's a lot of Pika, Pika, Pee! That kind of thing. It's really terrible. I'm so sorry you had to listen to that.
You're welcome.
Okay, 2 more. We do not play Overwatch, unfortunately. I would love to play. I guess, I don't know if you do.
I think Kevin might. maybe?
Yeah, I think Kevin that
might.
makes sense to me. I want to play it so bad, but I just don't have a machine that can run that.
Yeah.
I'm George R. R. Martin style, working on like a DOS computer pretty much. Cool, thanks. 5 out of 7 is not bad. I'll take that for my Pikachu.
All right.
And then the last question.
That's funny.
Ed Robinson, did you ever reveal why the lost player left? Okay, so there was some version of the script where it was revealed, but that line got cut for some reason, but other lines that infer it are still there. Those lines, though, seem to suggest that Trevor died. There's like a line where he says, I'm sorry, man, Alan says to Perkins, Trevor would never do you like that. And Perkins goes, may he rest in peace. And there's some joke there. It seems like they're joking. But that's really the only line that directly refers to it. So anyone watching it would think, oh my God, did Trevor die?
Yeah.
The truth is that Trevor went to grad school. Trevor used to live in LA with them and then decided to pursue his degree and go off to school. And there was dialogue about that beforehand.
And all in his backstory. Like, you have huge write-ups in each character. That's a big part of it.
And a lot of that stuff just didn't make it to screen. So no, Trevor is alive and well and living in Ohio, I think is where it was. He went to Otterbein,
I think in one of the flashbacks there's boxes, right?
Yeah, in the teaser.
That's right.
So the teaser, if you guys have seen that, takes place in Trevor and Perkins' apartment. See, we did. That's a very.
He did not.
The only assumption you could make for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it takes place in his apartment, so there's a bunch of moving boxes around, implying that he's going to move. Maybe some dialogue about him moving would have communicated that better. Oops. But awesome. All right, guys, I think we're probably going to wrap it up there. We're so happy you came out, even for a second Q&A. That's awesome. I'm surprised we had as many people as we did come back out. Your support on Twitter has been incredible. We're so happy that you have come out and supported this show. As we said before, we're going to be on Encounter Roleplay next week with our sponsorship. We're going to be on a lot of sessions and adventures with them. You can come check us out. We'll be tweeting the crap out of that, so don't worry, you won't miss it.
Yes. And we'll be around. We'll be doing stuff. We'll be in touch. We're just taking a break from, all the episodes are there, so binge watch to your heart's content. Share with your D&D group, please. Yes. That's the best way to get this out there, is to share it with more people who play the game. Thank you so much for coming out, and we'll see you guys on Twitter. Yay! Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye. We love you.